On today's episode, we are going to cover the 5 whiskeys you need for each occasion. I go by the name of, let's go.
Play the intro.
I go by the name of Lord, let's serve you some whiskey. And we're back. So I've been thinking, this episode I've been wanting to do for a while. A bunch of channels that I followed did this concept years ago. Shout out to the Bourbon Junkies. They found something on Reddit, Our Bourbon Forum. If you're not on Reddit and part of Our Bourbon, highly suggest you go follow that now. Anywho, they did the 5 whiskeys you need for each occasion. They did their spin on it. ADHD Whiskey did their spin on it, and it was pretty entertaining. And it got me to thinking, what are my 5 whiskeys for those occasions? So in true fashion, I'm going to shout out a few channels who I would love to hear their recommendation for the 5 whiskeys you need for each occasion. So let's get into it. Before we do, go ahead and hit that good old subscribe. And boom. Alright, so the first one on the list will be the Daily Sipper. This is the thing that you go to the most. It's not the top shelf stuff. It's not necessarily the bottom shelf stuff. It could be the bottom shelf, it could be the top shelf, depending on who you are. But for me, there's a lot of Daily Sippers. I go in and out every day, depending on the vibe. But one thing that's been the most consistent thing, that's been like a Daily Sipper, or I base my Daily Sipper on, is this one right here. So none other than the Knob Creek, the 120 proof. I particularly like the store proofs. They do vary, obviously, from barrel to barrel, from pick to pick, from group to group. But in general, I personally like this whether you are drinking this straight, neat, which I do like, or on the rocks, which 9 times out of 10, I do drink this on the rocks. Now, for some people, this may not be your Daily Sipper, or may not be, possible for it to be your Daily Sipper, but for the sake of this argument, this is my Daily Sipper. The Knob Creek 9-year store pick, can't go wrong. Wow. Oh yeah, and moving along, the second one on the list is Impress Your Guest. Now I know this is the 5 whiskeys you need for each occasion, but for this one category, it's Impress Your Guest. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna do 2. Reason being, I do have friends who kind of drink whiskey, and then I have friends who do drink whiskey. So for this instance, we're gonna go with the friends who kind of drink whiskey. I'm going to introduce them and impress them with none other than the Nulu. Wow, finished in honey. Now, yes, we know what's inside here. We know where it's from. We know where it's distilled. Some people like Nulu. They don't like Nulu. Also, a lot of people may not like the honey finishes, but guess what? I like this. This is way better than like Jack Honey, 1000%. I promise you. I bet you. This is cool because I can impress them with a story like, hey, they took a barrel. The barrel, they used it. They had a bunch of honey in it. They dumped all the honey out. They put this in for a few months, exactly 9 months it was finished in, and then they bumped it out. And this is 114 proof. Now, folks, it's 114 proof. I would admit it is not hot at all, and it does not drink at 114 proof. So I'll let people sample this. I give them a regular Glencairn glass or a mini Glencairn. They try it, and he's like, "Oh damn, this is really good." I'm like, "Hell yeah, you bet this is really good." So this is my first Impress Your Guest. So let's swap this one out, and boom. So that is by Nulu, and that is a private store pick. Wow. Moving along, so the other one I would say would be the Impress Your Guest is this one. Now I do have a few of these. This one has a little dinner in it. It is other than, the Michter's 10. This is so good. It's coming in at 94.4 proof. This is good. If you drink bourbon, or your friends drink bourbon, and they come over to your spot, your bar, your speakeasy, your lounge, your sanctuary, wherever, and you have a bottle of Michter's 10, and they probably never had Michter's 10 before, you can definitely serve them a pour of this, and I promise you they will leave happy. You don't have to open up any of your other bottles that they may turn a frown upon. Because guess what? Newsflash, not everybody likes 145 proof bottles. I promise you, nobody wants to drink 133 proof. I promise you, nobody wants to drink something that's been oaked for over like 50 years. I promise you that. But you can't go wrong with a good old 10 years Michter's. It's hard to find. If you know where to find it, you can find it. Sometimes you can find it for retail. I got lucky twice. So this will be my impress your guess, people who actually like bourbon. Yeah. Moving right along. I got my little notes here. I'm looking at my notes. That's why I keep looking down. The next one we're gonna do is a cheap mixer. Now, for some people, the cheap mixer could fall into your everyday sipper, I admit. But I think of a cheap mixer if you have people over and you can just have a bottle sitting out and you don't have to worry about it. Now, disclaimer, I do have a few other daily sippers that are obviously not Creek 120 proof. Some are, within the 100 proof range. Bourbon, fill in the blank. You probably your favorite too. But for this one, you can never go wrong with the Fighting. I'll let you read that word. This is coming in at 103 proof. Folks, this is good. This is really good. This is good as is. This is good on the rocks, and this is good in your favorite cocktail. No pun intended. This is the wow Fighting Cock. So this would be obviously the cheap mixer. Wow. And reset. And we're back. We are almost to the point. 2 more bottles left. And the next one is something great. Now, this could be the bottle that you've been nursing for like the last 4 years and there's like a little bit left. Or it can be something that you never opened up. But for this sake, everything that I'm talking about, here has been opened. So my particular of something great that I've been nursing, I maybe have 1 sip every other year, is the Bardstown Disco 2. Wow. This is probably my first bottle. Actually, this was my first bottle of Bardstown that I ever purchased. And as we see here, I got bit by the bug. But anyway, this is Disco 2. In true fashion, my worst mistake was not buying 2 of these, because you look now in the secondary market for this, it's OD what they charge. It's an arm and a leg. You can take out a small business loan. But anyway, this is comprised of a 10-year Kentucky. They use 44% of that in the blend, right? And a 12-year Kentucky, they use 39% of that in the blend. And also 14-year Kentucky bourbon that's also in this, and that's 17% of the blend. This is really good. This is something great. As you see, something great has been been taking my time on it. So yeah, I think let 1 or 2 people have a sip of this. Other than that, this one stays tucked away. Now, this next one is a special occasion pour. I always think, every day you wake up is a special occasion, right? But as we know, you can't, drink the finest bottles every day, because before you know it, they will run out. And you have to get another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. But for me, my special occasion pour is, usually I edit right here, but I'm just gonna let you guys listen to me the whole time while I go get it. All right, so my special occasion pour is none other than, woo, You Can Hate Me Now, but we can't sing that song. We cannot sing that song. Damn. It's none other than the Master's Keep 17-year. All right. This, folks, is really good. I know I say really good, but it is really good. This is my special occasion pour. I was able to get this at retail when it came out. And unlike True Fashion, I was able to actually get 2 of them. So I have 1 here, as you see, and I have 1 bunkered. So my special occasion, honestly, I drink this when, great things happen. I have a sip. And I always have a sip of this on Thanksgiving. I don't know why. I assume it's because it's wild turkey. And why not have a 17-year-old wild turkey Bourbon? This is really good. So I would say this is better than anything that it's been coming out. You know, they've been coming out with obviously the Russell's 15 here and the Russell's 13 there, but it all started, you know, with that right there. So that was my 5 whiskeys you need for each occasion. Now, let me know in the comments what your go-to whiskey is for each occasion. Feel free, let me know. Also, let me know if anything I mentioned on my list you tried before. If you like it, you don't like it, it's all good. Let me know. For the second part, the part we all been waiting for, like, Lord, what are the channels that you're calling out to give us their top 5 recommendations? Well, it's a good thing you asked. First, I am calling out a little bit of old fashioned. Shout out to Bourbon Lover. A little bit old fashioned, folks. Go ahead and follow him over there. Dope channel, dope palette. I'm curious to hear his take on his 5 whiskey choices. I already know what his everyday sipper is. I'm pretty sure it is a white label with green writing. It's bottle bond and it's 100 proof. I'm pretty sure, but I may be wrong, but I'm 1000% sure that his everyday sipper. Shout out to a little bit old fashioned. Secondly, we got, in no particular order, shout out to Whiskey Eats. I rock with Whiskey Eats, dope channel. I'm curious to also hear what his top 5 selection is for his everyday, not everyday, but his whiskey selection for different occasions or whatnot. His palate is also pretty crazy, and he also ventures into scotches and things like that. I love scotches as well. Newsflash. Last but not least, we got Whiskey Wonder Woman. Now, her palette is super dope. She tries a lot of different things all over across the board, and I'm very curious to know what her choices are for the top 5. So folks, if you like this one, you already know what to do. Go ahead, drop me a like, a comment, and subscribe. And like we always say at this time, folks, cheers, salute, Sante, Kobe, and all that jazz.